welcome back to another edition of Community Rewind. I'm your host, Alex Mead, and to get things started with, we have a little bit of breaking news, just a little bit of breaking news. We're jam-packed once again this week with a bunch of great stuff, so let's just go ahead and hop right into it. One of the hardest jobs, I think, across the country right now, or at least if you work at a college, is being the provost or the vice president for academic affairs, who is actually our first guest today. Dr. Donna Hedgepath would join us. And, keep in mind, COVID-19 didn't only affect spring classes. It also affected all of your summer classes on top of the fall classes as well. So things have had to be moved, removed, changed, rechanged, and everything's been so fluid with our situation we have at hand. So let's just go ahead and hear it from herself, Dr. Donna Hedgepath.
Originally, we started by creating a reopening committee. So we immediately wanted to work on what do we do in different phases. And it's been following the Kentucky phase-in that we're in, I believe, phase 2 right now, of what we feel comfortable doing. So we have a task force, and they meet regularly, and we talk with faculty. We have some faculty who are superstars teaching online, and then we have a few who really never had that experience. So we're still training faculty, because what we're doing is we're preparing for in-seat instruction in the fall. We're preparing for a hybrid version of instruction with in-seat and online, and they're also preparing for fully online. So faculty are working extremely hard just preparing for one of the 3 scenarios. And we will know more as we get closer. Of course, we have rescheduled our calendar. Our start date has been moved to September 3rd, which actually the first 2 days of the semester, 3rd and 4th, will start online in the Moodle Shells learning management system. We're going to let them get through Labor Day, and then we'll attempt to start our in-seat version of our classes on September 8th. And those that are face-to-face, our faculty are prepared for a hybrid, and we may need to rotate in and out. Students are sitting in the class maybe once a week instead of twice a week. So we're going to communicate all of that to students and faculty soon once we have the details. And again, we're following the governor and CDC. If anything changes between today and September 3rd, we've got to be ready to move. So we're learning that flexibility and that our new reality, that things can change quickly, but we're ready with either scenario. Move-in is going to be that weekend of Labor Day. We're going to have a phase-in, move-in as well, and housing will be contacting the students. Our athletes will be arriving early, as they normally do, especially football camp and soccer, and we've got band camp. We have so many of those groups that come in before move-in weekend with freshmen. That is being planned very specifically. We're trying to come up with how we'll go about testing if and when that happens, and we just want to be so careful. And the same with those in our residence halls. And then once they're here and we start and we don't feel like we need to send anyone home, we're going to stay. There has been a little bit of an adjustment in the number of games that we'll be playing with football season this year and how far we travel. And we're trying to figure out who can actually be in the stands. Still some unknowns there, and we'll have all that. We have removed the fall break from our schedule. We're starting about 10 days late, so that takes that up. We need that instructional time. And then again, we'll go through Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, I believe that's November 30th, there's a week of instruction, but it's going to be remote. And then the following second week of December, we'll have final exams remotely. And still not sure about December graduation ceremony. Campbellsville University is probably one of the most diverse campuses in the state of Kentucky, as far as African American students, international students. But one thing that I feel happening at Campbellsville, and our president, as he mentioned in his last letter, we're going to listen more, because we have a lot of improvements to make. And I value our students so much, and I especially want our Black students to know that they're loved, and we hear and see what's happening, and we want to contribute to the growth. We want to contribute to the change, and I know that's my personal commitment as well as the rest of my colleagues here, as we are being more intentional. We've recently about more diverse hiring and more opportunities for engagement and dialogue and changes that need to be made. So I look forward to the fall and continuing to contribute, like I said, to the change that's happening in our country. And we're here to support all of our students, and especially our Black students at this time.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks healthy donors to schedule an appointment to give during this coronavirus outbreak. Patients are counting on life-saving transfusions. Visit redcrossblood.org.
Staring contest!
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. This cat makes me make art. He's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Wash your hands, stay home, cover your cough. It's our new reality with COVID-19. Physicians and public health professionals are trying to protect us because our healthcare system would be overwhelmed if too many people get seriously ill. We have to take their advice seriously. So, prepare, focus on the essentials. Protect, keep some space from people outside your home. And disinfect, a lot. Get the facts at kycovid19.ky.gov. Prepare, protect, disinfect.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
And welcome back to Community Rewind. Our next guest is no stranger to WLCU TV. Typically, though, he's on Dialogue on Public Issues. We're able to sneak him away for a few minutes. He's also been a chapel speaker and plans on teaching a couple classes at CU in the future. He was also a panelist in the Let's Talk discussion a couple of weeks ago. Dr. Lewis Brogdon will join us, and we'll get his thoughts on kind of what's going on in our nation and a lot more.
I think it really begins with the final 2 years of the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He really began to shift his focus, not just to issues of racial inclusion, but to issues of economic inequality. He was really challenging the class system in this country. And he foresaw this, okay? He warned about this, okay? He knew this was gonna happen. It was already beginning to unfold when he shifted to the Poor People's Campaign toward the latter part of the movement. He knew that until this country addresses fundamental issues of racial and economic inequality, there's gonna always be unrest, and there are gonna be these sporadic and hot periods where this kind of stuff spills out into the streets. And so I think what has really brought us to this moment is first, not really taking Dr. King seriously. Yes, we have streets named after him, we have a holiday, and we love the last part of his I Have a Dream speech, but we don't really take the substance of his thoughts seriously. And we haven't really taken up issues of inequality and inclusion. And then the way we address historical issues in this country, I think is also a big part of that. So that's like a second piece, that history is taught as if genocide and slavery and all the systems that came out of slavery never happened. So now we have masses of white Americans who, they're not horrible people, but they just have not been educated on what has been done in this country. and all of the social, political, and economic systems that are connected to this, and how it advantages whites but disadvantages African Americans and other people of color in this country. And so there's been less of a willingness to really take up and to make the kind of correctives needed to prevent these things that we're seeing today from happening. One in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 says, to every purpose there is a season. There's a time to be silent and a time to speak. And then let's go to the New Testament where it says, let us be quick to hear and slow to speak. So I think we're in a period where there are some people who have been speaking. It is a period for them to be silent. They need to be silent and to do some listening. And there have been some people who have been silent and who haven't been able to speak, that now this is their time to speak, and they are speaking, and we need to listen to them. So I think we're in this period where we need to shift who's doing the listening and who's doing the speaking. That's going to be a critical first step. And we're starting to see, in some surprising ways, a tremendous amount of progress that's being made, where you're seeing a willingness of people to stop, to suspend, jumping to a conclusion, and really trying to say, well, maybe there's something here that I need to listen to. And so they're starting to listen. I really think, number one, a lot of people don't understand that race is a social construct. Race it's an invented idea. It's the most difficult thing that's a part of my work, is to really help people to understand, no, we invented race. It didn't come from God. And in fact, we invented race to do these horrible things that we're fighting today. And it's hard to get people to understand that, and then to admit, well, I didn't own slaves, but yes, but the system benefits you. It privileges you. And so how do we unwind that and build something different? It's uphill sledding to do that, but I'm committed to it. I love it. I believe it's the work that God has called us to. And there are a lot of good people who are listening, and they're reading and they're studying and they're out here protesting. And if they're not protesting, they're sponsoring forums like this so people can be educated, so that we can do something different. And so I'm excited about what I'm seeing happening today. And in order to make this pivot and this shift, we do need people they're gonna have to do some homework. They're gonna have to do some studying. We're gonna have to get beyond some of the soundbite clips that we're getting from the 24-hour news cycle, and just spend some time kind of digging into some text, listening to some people like myself and others who have been studying this history for decades, and really trying to help people to understand that if we call ourselves a Christian nation, I mean, I really think we can be better than this history. I really do think that we can be better. And I think there is an increasing interest in maybe saying, yeah, I think we can be better than we are right now. And that gives me some hope.
What's up, guys? I'm Don Smith, and this is What's Cooking Neighbor. So join me every Friday right here on WLCU, where I'll take your taste buds on a culinary journey.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. How could you not love him?
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire, but you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today, I'm just an aluminum can, but one day, I could be a stadium.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks all healthy donors to schedule an appointment to give now. With the coronavirus outbreak, it is important to maintain a sufficient blood supply. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. You can make a difference.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
And welcome back to Community Rewind. I'm pretty sure it's summer, right? It's summer. So if it's summer, we should be having some baseball games, right? Like a little bit. As many of you know, coronavirus did put a pause on everything from t-ball all the way up to professional. And a lot of those players were trying to figure out unique ways still to not only get better, but some of those high school kids had to figure out some way of getting a little bit of an edge to gain that, that college scholarship. Here at Campbell University, we got to sit down with the head baseball coach, Buford Sanders, and got to talk with him. And for the first time in a really, really long time, Coach had to figure out something else to do other than playing baseball.
Coach Hardy, if I remember correctly, had contacted us and all the coaches and said that he needed to speak with us about something, a situation. And we all, assembled, and he told us, based on the information that he had, he just shared what he knew at that time, that we were going to have to stop, shut down, and await further developments. 40 plus years, honestly, from January until basically the end of May, for 40 plus years of my life, I've known exactly what I was going to be doing, what I was going to be involved with, and my children did, and my, my wife, all my family. And it was so weird. I mean, I was, for several days, I think I was just kind of stunned or rambling around and stumbling around. Of course, I do that a lot anyway. But it was just double hard trying to realize that, hey, we're not playing, we're not practicing, and I don't have that relationship with my guys. And wow, it was certainly a drastic change. We have made a concerted effort, even though I'm a little bit older than my staff and most of the guys that still work here. I have learned to be an expert texter and emailer, and we've had a Zoom meeting with some of our guys, and we're going to continue to do that. So in a backhanded way, I'm elevating my prowess with using the electronic devices like all you younger folk are doing, that's for sure. But it's been different. It's been a challenge. Who wouldn't want to have face-to-face and be able to interact, in the same space, as opposed to looking at a computer screen or looking at a phone. I think we have 6 seniors that are going to be 6 fifth-year seniors, however you want to describe them, that will be coming back and participating with us. And it has changed the equation in the sense of these guys are playing again, and yet we're going to have a larger graduating class next year because of the 6 seniors will not be able to be back. And then we already have others that I don't know how exactly it's going to shake down. For sure, it's definitely different in how the money, the scholarship thing's going to play out. I think it's going to be fine, though. I think everything's going to work out the way it should. I think we're going to be all right. And I'm glad for those seniors that they've got another chance to be back and to play, because I can't imagine being right there and already beginning your season and contest, and then all of a sudden it's just, boom, no more, stop, it's over. Oh gosh, that's brutal. So I'm grateful that they made the right decision, in my opinion, regardless if it does, kind of alter what we may do next year recruiting. It's just not Campbellsville. It'll be all the schools that'll be potentially in the same situation. But I think it's worth it to give those guys the opportunity to play their last year. It has been very different not to have people to be able to come on campus and, to see and visit firsthand. We haven't been able to go to there are no games to go watch. So what we've been doing is looking at film clips from games in the past, and what few games were played at the collegiate level, JUCO level this year, we've got to see some clips of that. But basically, we've had to dig deeper into cross-checking and talking to other coaches and scouts and finding out more about these people. You know, have you seen them play, since that we aren't able to go to games and tournaments and watch them play, you know, in person, and we can't have them on campus. So it's been an extra challenge, that's for sure. Of course, it's difficult even to be able to, you know, to make their video clips, to have one-on-one instruction. You know, a lot of them, you know, always are doing that and trying to play in the summer leagues and summer balls to get out there and showcase their skills. At our NAIA level, they are allowed to be on campus, you know, during the semester and work out for us. And I think there's going to be an opportunity for them to do that before school actually starts this fall, if any of them chose to do that, because I understand that we're going to start allowing students and families, with certain stipulations obviously still, to be on campus and actually visit, you know, face to face to some degree. And whether that's going to translate into having them be able to come and work out and actually physically showcase their skills here with us, I'm not sure yet, but I think it may work out that way. But it's been tough for them too, and that was a good question that you asked, because, you know, again, they did not get to fulfill their senior year, and opportunities for them to be seen actually performing the skills, you know, is what all coaches prefer. If you can get, you know, firsthand opportunities to see them play. Practice is practice, and the game is still the game. And I don't care how hard you work to make the practice game-like, it's still practice. The game is when you really got the, you know, the pressure and the maximum amount of adrenaline and all that going on. This has been tough. It's been difficult. You know, there's a lot of different slants on we should have done this or did we do that, too much of this. I mean, it's obvious that there was a lot of fear involved, and fear paralyzes us, and we don't need to be focused on just negative things, and let's stay in the moment, let's stay in today and work to find solutions, being careful, but be positive and keep the faith. That's the way we got to do it. We got to keep going. Just don't become recluse and terrified of everything. We got to live our lives, again, in safe ways and healthy ways for sure. But just stay positive, keep you focused. I'm convinced that we're going to be better for it later on down the road.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Community Rewind rolls on right here on WLCU TV. And I'm pretty sure last week I mentioned with Mark Mann of all the regional centers Campbell University has, and one of them I think I mentioned was in Somerset, the No Education Center. Well, up next is the Executive Director of the No Education Center, Angie Travis.
What we have been doing worked, but we can tweak what we're doing and it'll work better. Okay, so that's kind of my challenge to you today, is to keep climbing.
As the director here at Campbellsville University Somerset, one of the things that I'm most excited about and that I wish everyone could be a part of is the energy of my team. Whether it's staff, instructors, one of the things that I feel we do really well here at CU Somerset is how we engage each other. Our goal is to not just be an ordinary university for students, it's to be a place of extraordinary, productive, and effective work. Whether that's a class, us working as a team, whatever it is. We feel that when students come in this building, they become part of us, and we do not take that role lightly at all. I feel certain that God has called every person that is employed here as a staff member, as a lead instructor, whatever their role is. He's put this team together for a specific reason. My team meets each week. It's not something that we feel we have to do, it's something that we enjoy doing. It's a great time for us to focus on our strengths and to discuss how we can move forward. It's been the most productive thing this summer watching my team go through the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and the 5 Choices, which is Dr. Stephen Covey and Franklin Covey work. And it's been something that they have been passionate about. I have seen their growth in goal setting and planning, and I think that this community will benefit from our recruiting efforts based on this. If you ever come in through our doors, you will see it. Our energy it's contagious. It can't be hidden. Every person that's here has a passion and a desire to be here, and I think that you will see it once you walk through our doors. One of the things we say here is once you walk through our doors, you are family, and we believe that. And I think if you take the opportunity to come visit us, or you see the things we're doing in this community, that will be evident. We are blessed with the team that we have, and I think that just makes the work that we do so much better. So we invite you to come see us at CU Somerset. We hope to see you soon.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
That's going to wrap things up for this week's edition of Community Rewind. Earlier in the episode, I did mention something about Dr. Brogdon being on Dialogue on Public Issues. You can find that Dialogue on Public Issues and a lot of them over on WLCU's YouTube channel. For that and Community Rewind, you can always head on over to WLCTV.com. Scroll down, both of the icons are there. You can click on both of them and it will take you to the playlist. And something else special that we did for you all is we looked back through our Dialogue on Public Issues, as well as some of our chapel speakers, and found speakers and guests that honed in on the problems with race and how we can kind of solve some of these problems. And we made a special playlist just for that called Dialogue on Race. That's on the YouTube channel, so you go there, find Dr. Lewis Brogdon's, as well as Daryl Davis. Daryl Davis, I think, might be the first one that plays. Make sure you check all that stuff out over on YouTube. And that's gonna wrap things up. They're telling me I gotta go. I was gonna stay here and hang out with y'all all night. They're telling me I gotta go. That's fine, that's fine. We can do it once again next week at 7 p.m. with Community Rewind.